This incident happened around 15 years ago when I was 19. A young man working his first job aboard a cargo ship in the middle of the ocean. I was both excited and slightly anxious. It was a whole new world, new people, a new environment, which seemed normal on the surface, but there was something about it, something unsettling. On the very first day aboard, I sensed something was off. The crew shared a deep familiarity, as if they'd known each other for years. And me? I was an outsider, silently observing. Everyone welcomed me politely, yet there was something hidden behind their eyes, an unspoken tension. During the first week, while we were having dinner one night, a senior crew member named Jack smiled and asked, "Do you believe in ghosts?" I laughed it off and replied, "No." But inside, my heart skipped a beat. I had never forgotten a few eerie incidents from my childhood, especially one when I was 10 and nearly drowned. The girl who saved me was already dead, but I never shared that with anyone. Just a few days into the journey, I began hearing knocks on my cabin door at night. 3 short, sharp knocks. I'd jump out of bed, open the door, but no one would be there. At first, I thought someone was playing a prank on the new guy. But then, one night, when I rushed to open the door immediately and found the corridor completely silent, an odd chill ran down my spine. The knocking became a routine, sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes just before dawn. Always the same 3 sharp knocks, and no one outside. One night, I decided to stay awake. Coffee in hand, I fought off sleep. Around 2 a.m., as the silence in the cabin deepened, the knocks came again. I leapt toward the door and flung it open. This time, I saw something. A faint shadow, a figure draped in white, barely visible under the dim corridor light. Then it vanished. I stood frozen. I couldn't even scream. The next day, I told Jack what I had seen. He stayed silent for a moment, then said, "This corridor is old. Strange things have happened here before." He was about to say more but stopped, as if someone had silenced him. A few days later, I was on duty in the lower section of the ship when the radio suddenly started crackling with strange static. I called the bridge. "This radio's acting up. Can you hear that?" The reply came, "We hear nothing. Everything's clear on our end." It wasn't the first time. Whenever I was alone, the radio would whisper, like someone murmuring softly. Sometimes I heard a woman's voice, faint, filled with sorrow. But every time someone else was present, it all went silent again. One night, I was organizing clothes in the laundry area when the watertight door, an automatic one, suddenly began to close. Alarmed, I shouted into the radio, "The door is closing! Did you trigger an alarm?" The bridge responded, "The door's open. We haven't done anything." My breath caught in my throat. I tried to stop the door, but it was heavy. I barely managed to escape. As soon as I stepped out and gasped for air, the second door began to close. I started running. Something was behind me. Someone was. That shadow I had seen only in glimpses before was now chasing me. I returned to my cabin, slammed the door shut, and collapsed onto the bed. My heart was pounding. I turned off the light, pulled the blanket over me, and closed my eyes. But the moment I did, I felt someone sit on my bed. The blanket creased. My feet were held down. I tried to scream, but nothing came out. My body was frozen. I tried moving my hands, but something was hovering above me. I could feel its breath on my face. Suddenly, the lights came on. Everything vanished. I was alone on the bed. The door was still shut, but my body was drenched in sweat, and on the blanket, there was a clear impression, like someone had actually been sitting there. The next morning, I spoke to an older crewmate who had been on the ship for years. He said, "All this started after an accident years ago. A young girl was once on a passenger ship, part of this very vessel. During a stormy night, she fell off the deck. Some say she couldn't be saved, but others claim her body was never found." I asked, "Does she have anything to do with the corridor?" He simply said, "She was last seen in that corridor, wearing white, her hair disheveled, and fear in her eyes." That night, I turned off the lights again. My heart was heavy with fear, but exhaustion took over. And then came the same 3 knocks, sharp and loud. I opened the door. The corridor was empty, but this time I didn't shut the door. I sat and waited, and then I saw her, the same girl, dressed in white, blank eyes, hair falling over her face, standing right in front of me. I couldn't move. She said just one sentence. I didn't fall. I was pushed. And then she vanished. After that, I resigned from that ship. It's been 15 years, but that corridor, that shadow, and that sentence still echo inside me. This incident happened just a year ago. Yet every glimpse, every moment still feels as fresh in my mind as if it happened yesterday. I was the second shift officer on a heavy lifting ship, and that night, my duty was from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. We were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, surrounded by nothing but the sea, darkness, and the soft rumble of the ship. The weather was strange. No storm, no rain, just a deep silence, as if even the sea was hiding something that night. It must have been around 1:30 a.m. I was inside the bridge, going through some documents, wide awake. I had a habit of stepping outside every hour, taking a walk, breathing the air and scanning the surroundings. When I looked out through the bridge window, my eyes landed on the aft of the ship. And that's when I saw something that froze me in place. Someone was walking from the back of the ship toward the front. The way he walked was odd, neither fast nor slow, but there was an invisible weight in each step. I immediately called the crew over the intercom. "Is anyone on the deck?" The reply came, "No, sir. Everyone's in their cabins." The radio in my hand began to hiss for a moment. I couldn't take my eyes off the window. The man, dressed in a white uniform, different from our company's standard, kept walking slowly and then stopped. He stood still, and then he waved. But the way he waved didn't feel human. There was no enthusiasm, no emotion, just a mechanical gesture, like a lifeless being raising its hand out of obligation. And he was staring straight at me, even though the lights inside the bridge were off, making it impossible to see him from outside. Yet his gaze was locked directly onto mine. Goosebumps erupted all over me. I immediately turned on the spotlights, illuminating the entire deck. I ran outside, but there was nothing there. No man, no footprints. Only the damp surface rustling in the wind and the sound of my quickening breath. I tried convincing myself it was a trick of the eyes, but my heart refused to accept it. On returning, I decided to check the CCTV footage. When I watched the recording, it felt like my heart stopped beating. On camera, the figure was clearly visible, in a white uniform, walking exactly the way I had seen. But as soon as he raised his hand to wave, the video flickered violently and the screen went black. I called the night officer. He watched it too, but didn't say much. All he said was, "This place sometimes shows us things we can't understand." I didn't speak about that incident for several days, but strange things began to happen more frequently. At night, static would come through the bridge's radio, as if someone was trying to speak, but the words were garbled and unclear. Sometimes a door would slam shut on its own. Sometimes the lights would flicker as if blinking. One night I heard a voice in my room, softly, slowly calling my name. "Amir? Amir?" I jolted awake, opened the door. The hallway was deserted. I tried convincing myself it was the effect of isolation. But then one day, when I was inspecting the lower engine room, something strange occurred. The sensors detected human movement, even though I was completely alone. One screen showed a white dot moving, as if someone was walking behind me. I turned around immediately. Nothing. But the sensor had recorded the movement. That night, I dreamt of that same man. The white uniform, the lifeless eyes, and that cold, mechanical wave. Even in my dream, he reached his hand out to me. I woke up screaming, drenched in sweat. Eventually, we returned to port. I packed my bags and left that ship for good. Later, I found out that years ago, the same ship had been involved in an accident, and an inspector had died, wearing a white uniform. They say that inspector was on night watch, and maybe he still is. I've spent 15 years of my life at sea, countless nights surrounded by unseen waters, trapped between the sky and the ocean. I've seen storms, watched ships sink, and lost friends. But nothing compares to what happened that night. It was nothing short of a nightmare. We were aboard the Sea Revenger, an oil ship, often called the Beast of the Ocean. For 20 days we had been at sea. As usual, everything calm and routine. Our crew was strong, fearless, and well acquainted with the ocean's cold moods. But during those days, something was gnawing at us from the inside. No one said a word, but everyone seemed disturbed, restless. Then one night, Captain Allen, a responsible and soft-spoken man, came to me. There was something on his face I had never seen before, like he hadn't slept in days. Riaz, he always called me by my name. To the left of the ship, something swims every night. I laughed. Captain, are you feeling okay? He stayed quiet, then slowly said, I've seen her. A woman in a white dress, on the water. She looks at me, and my eyes start bleeding. I turned serious. Captain Allen wasn't a drinker. He never said things without reason, and his eyes, they told a different story, like he truly saw something. We left it at that. But the next night, the first incident. Suddenly a blip appeared on the radar, something moving alongside our ship. We went out to check. The sea was calm. It was a moonlit night, nothing in sight. Probably a false alarm, said engineer Imran, though his voice lacked confidence. The next night it happened again, and the third night, we all saw a shadow. On the water right next to our ship, a human figure, like a woman standing still, floating over the sea. I rubbed my eyes. She was really there. A white dress, soaked hair, and empty eyes. Then she slowly drifted backward and vanished. That night, Captain Allen called us all together. His face was pale, eyes bloodshot. He said, She's calling me in the third hour of the night. I know. Tonight it ends. We tried to stop him, reason with him. But late into the night, the alarm blared. Internal door open. We rushed downstairs. The door was slowly swinging shut, as if someone had just passed through it. Captain Allen was gone. The recording. The footage from the bridge camera left us shaken. Allen stood facing the water. He kept repeating one sentence. She's here. She's calling me. I'm going. Then he paused, turned back for a moment, and jumped. We all ran, but it was too late. No trace of him, no body, no clothes. Just the sea, silent. After Allen's disappearance, something happened every night. Haroon said he saw the woman standing outside his cabin, still, staring. Imran's room lights all went out at once, and on the wall, written with a finger, were the words, I'm back. Shafkat heard footsteps all night, but every time he opened the door, no one was there. And then one night, I encountered her myself. I was in my cabin. Sleep was out of the question. A strip of light came through the door crack, and suddenly it went dark, as if a shadow had blocked it. My heart pounded. I slowly opened the door. She was there, right in front of me. White dress, dripping hair, and her eyes, empty as if filled with darkness. She stood a few feet away, but her gaze pierced right through me, like she knew me. I couldn't move. I forgot how to breathe. Then she said just one sentence. Allen is alone, and vanished. An endless fear. After that, we overhauled ship security, rotated the crew, and even once had the company replace the entire team. But it made no difference. Everyone said the same thing. Someone is watching us, all the time. Sea Revenger still sails. New crews come aboard, work a few days, then quit. I resigned too, left the sea for good. But even now, sometimes in my dreams, I see her in the middle of the ocean, water dripping from her hair, in a white dress, and those hollow eyes and staring right at me. If you're ever at sea on a quiet night, surrounded by nothing but water, just take a glance to your left. Maybe she's still there, calling someone, searching for a new Allen.